Did you know that shaking your houseplants can actually help them grow? I'm Tony Le-Britton and welcome to Plants with Impact, a series where I show you how to care for your houseplants so they don't only survive but thrive in your home. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Ficus lyrata, or the Fiddle Leaf Fig. Ficus lyrata, or the Fiddle Leaf Fig, is one of the most recognisable houseplants and is used in interior decorating throughout the world. It's become a real must-have in interior design. The Fiddle Leaf Fig grows in the tropical jungles of West Africa, and it has a really interesting growth pattern. When the fruits are produced, animals pick those up and drop them into other trees, and as those seeds start to germinate, the roots engulf that host tree, which gives it its nickname, the strangler fig. As the tree starts to grow, the roots head down to the soil to anchor it into the ground, and the fig grows upwards and shades out its host tree, taking it over. In the wild, they can grow to 100 feet tall, but don't worry, in your house, they're fairly slow growing, and you can cut bits back and use those pieces to propagate. You may have seen the viral video of a fiddle leaf fig being shaken and thought it was maybe just something a bit silly. But there is science behind it, and that is called thigmomorphogenesis. And that's your plant's response to mechanical sensation. In the wild, that can be anything from wind, rain, and other animals brushing against the plant. But in your home, we don't have those things. So giving it a little shake can actually alter how the plant grows. This mechanical sensation is going to encourage them to push down roots, to secure themselves, and also create shorter, stronger growth. So this huge plant on this side is actually younger than this one right here. You can see this one has really thick stems that have been cut and encouraged it to branch out below. And you can do that to something like this, or if your fiddle leaf fig is getting a little bit out of hand, just give it a cut and manage its shape, and it's going to help encourage it to shoot out and create a thicker, fuller plant. Check your fiddle leaf fig weekly to see if it needs watering, and to do that, just use your finger, pop it in, and you want the first few inches to feel completely dry before you water it. This one's ready to be watered, so we're going to lift it out of the display pot and water it really thoroughly. Water until the water is starting to flood out of the bottom of the pot, and make sure all of the soil is saturated. The next part's really important because although your fiddle leaf fig does like water, it will not enjoy sitting in it. So leave it in the tray or in a sink to drain for a couple of hours. And after that, you can place it back into its display pot. And plants do not work on a schedule, but we do. So check it weekly and only water it when it's ready to be watered. And again, that's when the first few inches feel dry. Propagating your fiddle leaf fig couldn't be any easier. We do this by taking cuttings, and what you want to look for on the stem are the little bumps or the little nodes, and that's where the new growth and the new roots will emerge from, and you want to cut between those. So I'll just take a sharp pair of snips or scissors and cut right in there. So right here is where the new roots are going to emerge from, but what we're going to do is clean off this cutting, just remove any excess leaves. So we're going to remove all the bottom leaves, and that's going to help prevent any excess moisture loss. And then we're also going to take a blade and we're going to reduce the size of these existing leaves by about half. And that then might not look like anything right now, but as the new growth emerges, you'll get a whole new plant. You can pop this into some water until roots emerge, but I prefer to get it straight into some substrate. You end up with a much stronger cutting, much quicker. So in here, we've got a nice free draining mix. So we've got some indoor plant substrate mixed in with some clay balls to open it up, and a little bit of chipped bark as well. Things like horticultural grit will do the same job. We're going to take a small pot, nothing too big so there's not too much substrate which will sit wet too long. We'll fill that up. No need to compact it down too much, just a gentle tap, and leave a little space around the top so when you water, there's room for the water to sit. And then make a little hole with your finger, pop your cutting in, and firm it in place. That's all you need to do. Give it a little water, pop a little bag on the top to keep that humidity in, and then put it somewhere nice and bright and wait until you see roots starting to fill the pot. Once the new roots emerge, you'll start to see new growth on the top, and when the roots completely fill the pot, it's time to pot it up. Only go about a pot size or an inch bigger on the pot at a time, and eventually you're going to have a beautiful new plant like this one. So if you're finding that your fiddle leaf fig or any other plants are getting a little bit leggy, try giving them a shake.